Hello and welcome to the Hard Questions. I'm Solomon Serwanja. It is the month of March and we focus on women. It's just beyond just the Women's Day, but it's a Women's Month. And we decided to dedicate this episode of the show to hear stories from women who have gone against all odds to be successful and inspire others. This special edition of the Hard Question is focusing on refugees, female refugees who came to this country, pushed back, and have become successful. On this show, I am privileged to be hosting Noela, who is the executive director of Real Phoenix Development Initiative. I'm also privileged to be hosting Vika, who is a refugee from South Sudan, and she's one of the leaders at the Bidi refugee settlement. Also on the show, I have Sumaya Mohammed, a refugee from Somalia, and she's also working with the People for Peace and Defend of Rights on the show. Ladies, it's such an honor to have you on the show. First time we're hosting 3 people, so I'm super excited. Thank you very much for making time. Thank you for accepting to speak to us.
Thank you for hosting us.
Thank you.
My dear, how are you?
Fine.
All is well?
Yeah.
I've had an opportunity of visiting Bidi refugee settlement. It's the second biggest after the Cox's Bazar, biggest refugee settlement in the whole world. It's continuing to grow. So firstly, maybe let me start with you, Adokoraj.
Yes.
What's your story?
Yeah. Thank you. I'm Vika Dokraj. As I mentioned, I'm a refugee leader. I'm leading women. Actually, I was leading the zone as the chairperson, but this time I come to lead women because I see the women are most vulnerable. That is why I said, let me stand for them. So I started when I came to the settlement since 2016.
Oh, you came in 2016?
Yes, that is the time we came to the settlement, Bidi. And it was not easy, but as being also a strong woman, managing, I had some trainings, like skills training, whereby it was a certain organization which train us.
Before you get to the training, just for my audience that perhaps may not understand, why did you leave your country to come to the refugee settlement?
Yeah, I left the country of South Sudan because of the war, which was there in South Sudan, whereby you will find the vulnerable people have been killed. Sometimes you find your house is burned, and you don't know who are those ones even burning, and you will find rebels moving just in the community. So according to what they were doing bad, that is why decided to leave the country and check for refugee.
And you came in with your family?
When I came, I came with my in-law, the mother to my husband, and with 2 children, because by that time we were not staying with the husband in the same place. The husband was in another village, I was in another village. So when the war broke, each of us, everyone ran in his or her way. So I came with my in-law in the settlement.
And how were you welcomed and settled in when you came to the settlement?
Yeah, it was really wonderful because according to the traumas that we had, really the UN did their best, because when you reach immediately, they come to you with happiness, they registered you, they take you as human, not in other way. So we also feel free, and we also gain hope that we are still going to be alive as we left the country. It's like this country is also the same like the country that we lived. Yeah. When we reach, they have given us the plot. They count plot by household, because when I came with the in-law, I settled as a family, me and with some children. So they count the plot 30 by 30 centimeter, then they give to one household. So we manage, and if you have small family, you also manage to put some greens in that plot where they give you, because it was hard to partners also to provide a place for digging to hold the people. So we started like that, and it ended up OPM looked also for some plots. Then they started allocating also people to also have something that they will put down to support the rest of that they give.
Okay, I'll come back to you on that because I've had an opportunity of visiting Bidibidi.
Yeah.
I am one person who thinks that Bidibidi will be Uganda's food basket. There's plenty of agriculture that's happening in these different refugee camps, and I am optimistic about the value that you people are producing food being in different refugee settlements, and I think that resilience and participating in agriculture will be very, very important also to us. I mean, beyond just you. But thanks. I'll come back to you. Let me come to you, my dear Sumaya. Right now, you can afford a smile. How was the situation? How did you end up in Uganda as a refugee? What really happened?
Actually, I can't remember much. I left my home country at a young age.
Wow.
Yeah. So I've left my country at a young age. At the age of 10, we flee the lands of Kismayo to Uganda seeking refuge. In the refugee camp, we resettled here for some time in Kampala. Then they resettled us in Kivali, where the refugee camp is.
What had happened back home?
Back home, it was war, conflicts, rape, everything, rebels everywhere. So it was kind of hard to even walk on the streets of Somalia.
Wow. At a young age, what did you witness there?
Death. Mostly you see someone just dying on the street and you wonder why. They just come into your houses, they rape women, girls, anything they find. So we had to flee. In that war, we kind of lost my dad.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. And somehow you and your siblings and your mother.
Yeah, we somehow fled Somalia to Uganda. We sought refuge here in Kampala. But it was kind of a bit hard, but when we got to the refugee camp, we were welcomed, but the life there isn't that good. But somehow we managed to stable ourselves. My mom, actually, she's been a courageous woman, a strong woman.
No, I think the word courageous is an understatement.
Yeah.
But for a lady who is able to raise you and your siblings, I think we really celebrate her. How was it like in the Nachivale refugee settlement for you and your mother and your siblings?
It was hard, but at least a bit better, safe. It was safe, wonderful, but even Nakivale Valley has its own challenges because there is a lot. The most of the community, they face the same problems. Some others are disabled. Some others are mental problems. So it's kind of hard if they don't have a safe place where they can talk about their issues. Other than just you go to the refugee camp, you register yourself, you get the food, you get the money, but isn't really enough. Most of them seek for skills, want to do something. Most you find refugees flee from Nakivale to Kampala just to find, to breadwin themselves, to sustain their lives, because refugee camp cannot sustain. You may have a house, but no electricity, waters, you have to walk miles away to go get it. So it's kind of hard.
It must have been hard.
Really hard.
Yeah. And I completely understand because I've been in Nachivale as well. The fact that you're in there, you are waking up every day, you can't, the food and the money they're giving you does not sustain you. You have to
work
to make sure that
you have to find a way to sustain yourself through selling small things. As you know, if you are hand skilled, you have to put your hands out there to help others to get something.
Yeah.
Or to learn something. If you didn't like here in Uganda, if you don't have the knowledge of education, you are not able to seek any job or anything.
Yeah.
So you have to have that.
Yeah.
So that was it's kind of a challenge, but now Somehow you find schools are being opened in Kivali. Girls and boys, they are able to access education, but back then it was kind of hard.
I can imagine. So you studied in, because you just said that you came in at the age of 10. So
Yeah.
you studied within the settlement.
I did not study within the resettlement. I had to come here to the city to study. Yeah, we actually left Nakivali to Uganda. So my mom had to look for a job. She actually, she got a job, sustained herself, then opened a restaurant back there in Nakawa. So that was the one that was helping us through schools, through things.
Wow.
At home.
She's a hero.
Very much.
I'll tell you this. It's not easy to be a refugee.
Yeah, no.
I mean, you can't, most of you ladies and your family members, your friends, you once had a home.
Now it's not there.
It's not there anymore. You can imagine. So you've lost everything. You leave back everything at home that you've worked hard for. Pick whatever you have to pick because of the war, and find a place to call home.
Yes.
I mean, no one ever wants to be a refugee.
Yeah,
I can imagine if anything happened in this country, having to leave everything that we've worked for, like our loved ones, our families, everyone just packs their bags and go. And that can be challenging, especially for you who comes from the Democratic Republic of Congo. What's your story?
Allow me to say it's very challenging, first of all. So, I am originally from the DRC, and what I've seen, it's war. Continuous war. Just imagine being raised in an environment where you see gunshots, you see women are being raped, you walk on death, but dead bodies, and at the end of the day, you want to make it as a person. So this is the environment I'm coming from. Considering the fact that I saw so many wars happening, I came to realize that there is nothing I can expect from wars, because war creates wars at the end of the day. War don't make people at all. War destroy humans being. So with that, we decided to move and seek refuge or asylum to Uganda, being one of the neighboring country.
So you came from Eastern DRC?
Yes, I'm coming from a region called Bukavu. But I also had an opportunity, to move to Goma, that is the North Kivu, because I had families there. Yeah. So my movement was basically Bukavu, Goma, within the regions. So in all those regions, there is a lot of insecurities, a lot of political instabilities. There is a lot of, what's happening. It's already a war zone in itself.
We just had these ongoing fighting to the end.
And even after leaving, there is still war that is happening.
How was it like for you to grow there?
Well, it's home. Home is home. Home is sweet. We cannot deny that. But that's where we've been born. That is where we saw ourselves. That's where our roots coming from. So it's home, first of all, before becoming a war zone to us.
Yeah. So how did you make it past the border, you and your family or your mother?
Yes, I must say, before even we left home, we have survived two couple of wars. We survived the first war, which was the AFDL Liberations War, and then followed by the Mutebusi Wars. So deciding to leave was an option. It was not really a choice. We decided to move and to seek refuge in an environment which is a bit safer for us. Being women, being young, because I remember living at home with my relatives. I was born by a father who was a lawyer, and anything that he wanted us to become is to become lawyer like him, argue his cases in courts, but not surviving wars. You understand? So when it was not seeing that being realized in us and ourselves, realizing that we can't be the people we want into such environment, we had to seek safety in a neighboring country, which can provide at least an education opportunity to us, which can maybe provide opportunity for us to become the people we always dreamed to be. That's the decision we made. For our safety, yes, and for other more.
So you and your relatives then crossed to Uganda.
Before leaving, I was sick. This is something that I need to acknowledge. I was really sick. I went through a lot of challenges, and my family as well did the same. But then when we crossed, the first thing that you are looking for, it was services. Services that could enable us, feel better. Because we came, we were wounded already. So now when we crossed, of course, I never came directly to Uganda. We were trying to settle in Native Valley camps. But considering that the camps has a lot of related challenges, we were advised not to move to the camp, but to go to the city. Why? Because we shall have an opportunity to access public or governmental facilities, and also to seek for more support around. So that was the picture by the time I left home.
Yeah. And when you settled in, what happened?
So after going through the process of healing, I had to make sure that I rely on the social networks, whereby I could identify with other fellow refugees or some other Congolese, since I'm coming from Congo, and to start life now. So this is how I was introduced to an organization. It's called Jesuit Refugee Services. Those are the people that actually welcomed me in Uganda in terms of providing services and support to me. So with that, I had to go through skilling programs. And then the first job that I got in Uganda, I got it through JRS. And that was the beginning of my life.
Wow.
So now being there, the work that I was actually doing, or the service that I was giving to my community, it was basically counseling, trying to work closely or hand in hand with the survivor of gender-based violence. And that is where now I'm coming from. On a daily basis, I had to listen to women's stories, survivor stories. And for me, I say, I won't stop from here. I don't want to stop just from listening to their story. And then at the end of the day, I had to ask myself, now what follows after listening to a story? Mm-hmm. I know after listening to story, maybe you have to refer cases, you have to channel it to the entity that has more power in order to further manage their cases. Mm-hmm. But I wanted to do it by myself. Okay. Being one survivor yesterday, being that one refugee who are undergoing a lot of challenges, I wanted to ensure that I become a hope for many refugees. I wanted to make sure that I could provide services that will meet the needs of the people.
Wow. We'll come to you for that, and thank you so much for supporting those women, because everyone who has gone through what you went through, you knew exactly what they went through, and you offered to support them. Sumaya, let me come to you. You've settled in the camps, you've come back to town. Mama has really gone against all odds.
Yeah.
To look for your school fees. She has educated you. You've gone to school. How have you been able to go past the challenges of life as a refugee in Uganda to be one of the most successful women refugees, inspiring the next generation?
It's been quite challenging, but I've been through it, and I've grown up through all these things, seeing this, and I've been going through refugee organization, like seeking counseling, stuff like that. But it's actually been good and helping. And once I thought, like, if someone could listen to my story and help me through it, why can't I do the same to others? So I started like writing poems, going out there, sharing them. So I decided, like, I got a call one day from an old friend, let me say that, and told me there is a safe place where you can go share your stories, maybe come and work with us, see how it can get you through it. So I was like, okay, then I got connected to PPDRA. So that's where I started working, learned a lot from what the refugee organization stands for, that it helps people. So I was like, if they helped me through it, why can't I help others as well, my fellow women? So I have worked there. I've connected with a lot of women, young girls mostly. Some others are seeking skills, some others are unable to go for school. So, and they seek skills and tailoring and stuff like that. So I was like, why can't I contribute my skills, like teach English? So I've been one of the teachers as well.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I've been teaching English for some time, and I still do.
Yeah.
So
To your fellow refugees.
to my fellow refugees at the organization that I work with. And yeah, I've been like, we share stories as well. We have a safe place where women group up and they share their stories. We get to know what they've been through and how they can overcome it. And if they're able to share it, they can share it.
And you've also inspired other women to
Yeah.
go back to school.
Yeah, and I've inspired a lot of women, mostly in my community, I can say, because you be there and get a message from a girl saying, yeah, you have done a lot. I may not know you, but she's like, you have done a lot, and I'm very proud that I've met you, I've seen you. I've actually got quite a few of those messages, and they've been quite encouraging as well to me to know that I'm doing something to the young girls out there.
Great. You let me just stay with you a little bit, then I can come to the question.
Okay.
You now are imparting skill sets
Yeah.
and teaching your fellow Somali refugees.
Yes.
Not only, I don't teach only Somalis refugees, I teach all nationalities. It comes to Ugandans, Somalis, Congolese, Ethiopians, Sudanese, because I've been with them all. And I've been with them all, and I've been part of the Grow project as well. We've been like some of the teachers who went to Lira, teaching the students. So it's quite been a journey, but a wonderful one.
Okay, great. We'll come back to the reception that we give you as Ugandans to be able to have that. But Adokorach, you are in the refugee settlement. You've told me you've settled in with your family. They've given you land. You've started tilling. And then, look, you're now a leader. So how have you been able to survive in Bidi refugee settlement with so many refugees and with the scramble for the resources? How has life been for you in Bidi?
Yeah, well, as we said, it's a lot and it's not easy to be a refugee. When I came to the leadership, actually when I came to the settlement, I started with leadership immediately. And
You started being a leader immediately.
yeah, I immediately when I came in 2016. So by that time, I used to share my story because I went through a lot when I was married and other things. So I used to share my story with women, even with some partners who are handling women cases. So after I shared with refugee Refugee Law Project, that is another organization. So they asked me that what can I do best to support myself and support others. Then I said, I'm still young, and I got married when I was in school. I finished senior 4 already, but I can still go back to school. So they told me, what can I do? I said, what I wanted is teaching. I mean, I can do something like teaching. Then I went through nursery teaching. Right now, I'm a nursery teacher. And after that, through advocating also for the women when I was in leadership, I started my groups, like a VSA. I registered in sub-country. I went and registered in district, and the group we call Active Women Vision Group. So we started with saving. Our saving was, the social fund was 500, and then the saving alone, one star, was 1,000. So we started slowly like that. Then through that, we also wrote a letter again to another organization, that is Women Peace international. So they help us with some funding. They give us some loan, like 3 millions, because our group was saving small money. That we should borrow that money, we do with other business, then we bring it back. So from there, I also did not end it like that. I said now at least this is a business, other people are not trained in business. Not that everyone can do business. At least we should have some skill training. And when I went to the leader, I went through also skill training of making liquid soap, and then also bar soap and cosmetic. So I was training those groups of mine, the women. So I said now, as we are here as a group, we should not end in 30 members. Each 15 members should at least have 2 groups in the settlement. You train those groups and they should also start their business. So we are supplying liquid soaps and bar soap in the settlement. Even the other time of Corona, the partners also were using our groups to supply sensitizer because we can also make it. Then from there, I now said women can now stand. Even if I'm going to leave leadership, I may leave leadership when women have something. I also form a group. We call that group property recovery, whereby we save, like in our group, we have 7 groups in the settlement. If in a month like this, we save for 2 people, 10,000 for buying what you want in your house, and then 2,000 is for the tea that people will come and take. That one there, we call it property recovery, because when we came from in the settlement, we left everything in our country. So at least a woman should have maybe plastic chair, have also mattress, sometimes that money. If you have children in school, you decided that we give you that money, you pay with the children, we should not buy those property, we give you the money like that. Wow. So this is what we are doing up to now. And I started with 7 groups, but right now the group have reached up to 26. Wow. Other women are also following. Nice. And right now, even when I talk, I have those plates, and then also I have those cups whereby in the funeral places, they can come and even borrow with 300 each plate. So we are doing just like that to help our people in the settlement. This is how I'm with my women recovering the challenges that we have.
You know, when I hear your stories, ladies, I am fascinated. Yeah. Fascinated that people who came in with nothing and left everything they had in their community back home, came in with a few clothes, settled in, and tried to find their way around. Yeah. Being able to start learning how to do liquid soap, training women. Now you started a savings circle where you're now supporting women to also buy property, take their kids to school. That's such an amazing story you guys are sharing. And you know, once you settled in against all odds, pushed back against, you persisted through it. Eventually, then you said, "Look, I want to help my very own," and you started that journey. Talk to us about it.
Yes, thank you so much. I said before, I have been volunteering somewhere, right? So through volunteering, I have acquired a lot of knowledge when it's coming to managing the refugee populations. Because the reason of why I decided to volunteer, it was for me to acquire knowledge first. Knowledge is power. Knowledge is expensive. Knowledge can take you anywhere. If I'm here where I am, it's because of the knowledge that I'm having. Yes, the local expertise. Wow. So from there, I decided to establish my own platform, the Real Phoenix Development Initiative. It's a refugee women-led organization that is offering services in terms of providing emergency education, providing livelihood support, providing service in regard to GBV prevention and response through shelter now. And we are doing a lot around water. We are building wells production within communities, amongst others. And on top of that, I have also established a regional Displaced Women-led Network Africa. This is a platform that is bringing displaced women across Africa, but those that are not only leading, even those into the academia spaces. Because I know that Africa as a continent has been so powerful in terms of welcoming its own people first. Uganda is one of the African countries which is hosting me, first of all. And other being hosted in Tanzania. You go to Burundi, there is refugees as well. But I say these are not just statistics. These are not just story. These are knowledge that lies within the people. Some of them have studied. Some of them have education backgrounds that can take them to another level. But I say we shouldn't just be silenced by our presence, because for some people, refugees are just projects. For some people, refugees are statistics. But we know that we are human beings before being refugees. How can we take, advantage of that? We need, first of all, to connect ourselves. And that's the purpose of why we established the Displaced Women-Led Network Africa, to bring or unite refugees across the region. Once we unite, we connect, we discuss, and then we develop our own idea on how we want displacement to look like. Because displacement in itself, it's something not good. It doesn't bring anything good on the table. People keep moving. People are always on the move. But I think we can have the power to stop the move. We have that power, yes, to say, walk and stop.
Yeah. You see, when you were talking about these issues, you highlighted that you are now supporting women, especially with the shelters. Tell us about that.
Yes, the shelter is as a home to people who have gone through a lot of challenges. We call them the Phoenix. Why? Because they have gone through a lot of hardship, from lack of safety, lack of protection, lack of empowerment. And these are women, these are even children who are looking for safety and protection. As you know, refugees are people who are really in search of safety and protection. So, while being hosted, of course, some engage into livelihood activity in order to make life and their living. And through that, people encounter different challenges. Some have been hit with GBV incidents, but at the end of the day, where do they go? Some are living into toxic relationship with their husband that leading to divorce. Where do they go at the end of the day? So this is the result of the many cases that we've been receiving on daily basis at our offices. And we decided to create this home that places the survivors of violence, not only the refugee, but also the host community. And that is the beginning of the story of the Phoenix Home for Recovery.
So tell me about the Phoenix. I mean, it's interesting because you referred to it. Does the Phoenix as a bird inspire you? Why Phoenix?
Why Phoenix? Because, as I said before being a refugee, I'm a human being. But this is a human being that has been through a lot of hardship. I just refer as a bird. A phoenix is a bird. This bird that has been through a lot for so many years and then trying to transition. That's why for me, I call them the phoenix.
It's a transitioning.
It's a transitioning, process.
Yeah, for women. And while they're in that shelter, you train them, you rehabilitate them.
Yes. In the shelter, we provide a lot of services, starting from, counseling to empowerment, and then to provision also of funding in order to build their self-sustainability. Yes, and then recovery process comes in.
Yeah. Self-sustainability is very important. I mean, if you are a refugee, you have to make sure, you can't wait all the time to get the food rations. Yeah. You must find a way, like you said. Sumaya, you have to get out and make things happen.
Yeah.
I mean, the success stories that you ladies are sharing, comes with the way the host community treats you.
Yeah.
Yes.
How has it been like for you? The reception, Sumaya, that you, I mean, if you came in 10 years.
Actually, you have treated me well. Ugandans have been good, not bad. At the same, it's good when you stay in a Ugandan community. You get to know your own fellow host community, what they think about you. But when you go out on the other communities where you find most refugee based to themselves, as well, it's welcoming. But you find the Ugandans will talk about why are they always together? Why are these people coming together instead of spreading with us? Sometimes us as displaced women who flee their homes, we are mostly attached to our culture and tradition,
Yeah.
which most people don't understand that. So when you come to Uganda community, they always want us to mix, but it's kind of hard. So there you find sometimes some of them are welcoming, most are welcoming, not even some. Most are welcoming and most are kind of still in the process trying to get to you.
The issue of culture is also a very
Sensitive one.
very
sensitive one.
sensitive, but also very interesting.
Yes.
Because we always see you in your communities alone, and I
Yeah.
think many people have raised it. Mingle with us, intermarry with us.
Yeah.
But I'm told that it becomes very difficult.
It's very difficult because remember, from my tradition and my culture, what they have taught me, it's not going to be the same as you. I may marry you, but what I expect from you, it's not going to be the same thing I'm expecting from my fellow nationality or my fellow person. It's not going to be like, it's going to be different, and it may become very challenging.
Yeah.
But some others try to get out there to do something different, and it's quite good for them. Others, it's quite hard for them. So they can't be possible get out there and do it.
But Swat, let me ask you, what inspires you?
What inspires me? Young girls inspires. Okay, everything around a woman, a girl inspires me. Because you wake up, see someone's daughter doing something, but you don't know in 5 years from here what is the person's going to accomplish. It's like me. I never thought I would be a leader or doing something for myself, standing on my own 2 feet, or supporting my family. I never thought of that. But somehow I found the purpose to do it. And I know it's still ongoing because my journey is it's just the beginning and it's not the end as well.
And you are looking at those girls to educate them.
Yes, because as a teacher, let me just say that you may be in class teaching, but you don't know what is your fellow student you're teaching, what have they been through, what is their story. You can't know until you get the time, sit with them, talk to them. You'll find that they have a lot they can talk about.
Mm-hmm.
Even from a family, you don't know what they have been through or what is the family doing to this person. Because remember, as a refugee, when you're fleeing home, some others support each other to come to seek refuge to another country. Some of them, they're not your family, but you linger with them as your family because you're the same culture, you have the same tradition.
Yeah.
So you come with them, but are they treating you well?
Yeah.
That is the question, but you don't know. So by talking to those young girls and those young women, you find that a lot has happened. Some others are pregnant but not know the father who is, and they have that kind of hardship.
Yeah. No, it's really interesting hearing your story as well. Inspiring young ladies, young people.
Yeah.
Because you were once like them.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now that you're grown, you want to tell them that you can be like me.
Yes.
Which is really amazing. But let me come to you, Adokrach.
Yes.
You're now a leader in your community. How are you taking on leadership?
Yeah, the leadership, they say leadership, God is the one who can choose a leader. And when God chooses you, God will always be with you. It is not easy, and the community that Bidibidi is not,
It's tough.
is not an easy citizen. But we are trying. when we just started it, it was not easy because we know the land that side of Bidibidi settlement belonged to the landlord, not to the government. And it was very hard to also assess a place where you can put something down. But we really try through coexistence, where we used to bring us community and refugee community together. We talk to them with partners also. Actually, they usually, this time they understand the condition of a refugee because OPM assess land, they can talk to the landlord, but sometime after, you will find the brothers of the landlord come that this is my land. I don't want to be given to the refugee. You will find they start fighting, which was not hard, but this time they really understand. And as we are also trying those things, what actually we are doing this time, or I'm doing as a leaders, because the youths are very stubborn people. They're one of the us. You put your thing down, also they will just like cassava or maize. They will come with slasher. They can slash them down all.
Really?
Yeah. So
Is it the host community?
yes, even if we organize like maybe games, other things, they will come and destroy. But we also, we say now, how will we bring these people together? We started forming groups whereby we also bring them in the same group, like maybe storytelling. We also talk with their leaders because they also understand their leaders. You bring for us community so that they compete. So, and there's also cultural gala when we organize it. The first people which we are going to give them the information is the us community. So from there, they feel also very happy that this refugee, they are also taking us very good. And as I talk, even if I go to refugee, if I go to us community to have meeting with them, at least I will come with maybe cassava. Sometimes even they can give me chicken that I'm doing the great job.
Wow.
So this is what we are doing with them through sharing and storytelling, cultural gala. That is why what is bringing us together in refugee settlement.
That's nice. And
Yeah.
through your leadership, I think
Yeah.
you're doing an amazing job.
And also we include them in our property recovery.
Oh, you're
Yeah.
also in the proper recovery
We
project?
have 5 groups from their side,
Wow.
which we are doing together with them.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's very important to keep a cordial environment with your hosts. So,
Yeah.
Adokuraj, thank you. Noel, I just wanted to involve you on community support and how it is important to help women to go and swim against the tide, and as refugees, that you have a community around you that is really also supporting you and encouraging you to push back against anything to be a successful, despite the fact that you're a refugee.
Yes.
How important is community empowerment and support?
If we are to do any project, we first of all start by engaging the local leaders. We want them to own the initiative.
Yeah.
Through them, they will bring the community members.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that this year we have been positioned to work with so many women leaders, women councils. Why? Because we wanted to make sure that they also be part and parcel of what we are doing. Because we are living into a patriarchal system already, where it is men pushing and leaving the women. Yet we are a woman-led organization trying to push for the gender lens now in order to achieve gender equality. So by bringing the leaders or the leadership on board, first of all, it is lengthening responsibilities, and then it's promoting ownership because they're being part and passion of the initiative, and they're in the better position to tell about its impacts. So that's what is basically happening. But in the refugee community, of course, we also have a lot of community supports. Yeah. We have the refugee-led movement now, the refugee-led network now. You know, all this support to us. Yeah. It's community support. Because in terms of anything, we rely on those force. It's already a force. Yeah. Yes, so we rely on them. Yes. Yeah. And we make sure that in terms of decision-making processes, we meaningful participate and bring each other together.
All right. Our time is fast spent. I will ask you, all of you, one question. What does your future look like, Adokoraj, as a woman refugee in Uganda, from South Sudan? What do you see in the near future? What do you want to do, or what do you want to be? Where do you want to see yourself in the next couple of years?
The first thing that I'm seeing myself is I'm just praying that our country should be okay, because I can be MP that side of our country. I'm struggling and I will be. I pray to God that the country should be okay. But yeah, but
So,
when I'm still here.
But you see, it sounds like the conversations of having an election. I know that there's conversation with President Salva Kiir Mayardit and leaders for South Sudan to hold elections. In some places, peace has returned. So your first thing is you want to go back home and contest for political office.
South Sudan, the president can talk like that, but South Sudan, we have a lot of people who thinks that they know more in South Sudan, more than any country. So we are not sure whether we will go, but going once like this is very hard. But people are going, even up to now, up to tomorrow, people are going. But it's not an easy thing. But when we are still here in Uganda, I wanted to see myself that at least I stand for women and also community at large, as I'm also the leader of the community, to make sure their voice be heard. Because the word refugee is not that it covered everything. You can stand and do something for your future. As also Uganda, it is also allowed. When you stay in the country for some years, there is also criteria whereby you will become a citizen of Uganda. So not that we put ourselves that we are refugee. I'm just working hard so that I be somewhere. It's only that the funding sometimes can limit. Suppose if not like that, the organizations or the groups that we started, if we get some support, so that our services can also reach other women, because we are helping, but not all the community are also benefiting. And as we talk right now, some of us, at least even right now, we reach to Kampala. But there are some women in my settlement, they don't even know how Kampala look like. Because of what? Because they are child down, and they feel that the word refugee, they cannot do anything. But we will advocate for them, and also according to sharing stories and doing a lot of things with them, they will also know that for them, women, they can stand. And as my story, I wanted to stand for all the women, and at least women, if not 80%, then 90%, should know their right and also stand for themselves and help the future.
Thank you, Adokoraj, woman member of parliament. in South
I'll
Sudan.
be, yeah.
Keep that. I've written it down.
Thank you.
Sumaya, where do you see yourself in the next 5-10 years?
Well, I see myself as an advocacy woman who advocate for women and girls, owning a small, not small but big organization where I could share refugee stories, like young women's stories, their ups and downs. As we know, refugees don't leave their brains behind. We come with them, but it's very hard for us to share them. So I see myself sharing these young people's story on a big screen, somewhere big. Yeah, and yeah, keeping the advocacy of the women going, because as women, we all stand together. And if we don't stand together, who's going to stand for us?
Sumaya, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
No. Future, where do you see yourself in the next 5-10 years?
Well, thank you for the question. So I see myself so much involved in politics of my country of origin. Why? Because recently, there's a story that resonates so much with me. Recently, over 178 women got burnt in the prison in Goma. and not only women, but also their children. So that is huge for me. I kept on asking myself, what is my role toward that? What am I contributing to my own origin country? Being someone who has survived a lot of wars and being someone whose wars has impacted negatively, what could be or what could look like my contribution in this business? So I really want to make sure that I also pull my chair to the table where these decisions are being made. I promise myself to create a movement that can peacefully influence in the decisions that are being made in the country. Because at the end of the day, it's women that are losing. Have you seen what is happening? All the statistics shows that it's women dying, it's women being raped, it's women being burnt. The majority are women who are paying the price. But I also believe in the power that lies in a woman to peacefully make an end to all these atrocities. That's why I also pray that I will find myself a space there
You want to go back?
and go back to the country.
North Kivu, Eastern DRC, and South. Let me ask you a very personal question. How do you feel when you hear about the war happening in Eastern DRC as a refugee who is from there as well?
I feel that boom at my heart because it resonates so much with me. It's shocking at the end of the day because there is lives that are being lost. But also it feels like there is no progress. The before war, it's still equal to the after.
As a woman refugee, what's your message to the leaders?
I am very, very conscious that the leaders are aware of what is happening. Because ever since all these atrocities started, I just see leaders fighting. These are leaders from different countries fighting over resources. That is the lesson that I'm learning. And I came also to realize that these are not humanitarian crises. These are political crises for me. It shows that there is lack of leadership capacities. It also shows that there is lack of governance abilities. But I also feel like it's time for women to stand up and say, this is what we want. If it will take for a woman to lead, let her lead now. Because the men have added nothing to our countries, apart from wars, everyday war.
Yeah, the reason I'm asking this is because to date, there's still people who are crossing from Eastern DRC into Uganda, and you did cross this years ago.
Recently, we have heard about the influx in Burundi. Many people, many Congolese, not only Congolese, even the refugees that have been hosted in Congo are now seeking safety for the second time in other countries like Burundi and Uganda. You know what it means. So until when we shall be having this influx? I believe people can have a seat in a room and discuss about how to put an end to displacement, to all these atrocities. I believe there is that room. Yeah. I believe there is. And I have seen a lot of women leaders trying to push really for the envelope against all odds. Yeah. And these are the women that I think I should couple with to bring also my own contribution as a refugee, as a displaced person. Because I believe I have that contribution.
Do you think those voices of women are heard in the thick of the crisis which is happening in the DRC?
Yes, I have seen the women trying to push, like the Prime Minister in the DRC currently. She stood up against all odds and spoke her mind. But she's speaking to who? She's speaking to the men who are not listening. And I feel like it's time to hold our hands, all of us, and say, let's push for this. Let's make it happen. In other countries, we see women leading. Why not in Congo? Why not in Somalia? Why not in Sudan? Where there is this political unrest. Yet, if really a woman has the power, as we say, I believe she has it, then it is time for us to utilize the power and change the game.
Yeah. And this would even be part to, like you say, going back home. Speaking of going back home, Sumaya, do you want to go back home?
Yeah. Why wouldn't I want to go back to our home? That it's way beautiful. Have you seen it? The ocean, the lands. It's beautiful. So if home is peace, I would go back because East and West home is always the best.
Do you want to go home, Vika and Dokoraj?
When if now? Very ready. I wanted to go back home. That is why I said if even today I will go and stand for MP so that the voice of women can be heard. A woman, if it is at home, children cannot fight. So we wanted to go and stand for our country so that those people should also stop fighting.
Vika and Dokoraj from South Sudan, a refugee staying in Bini. Thank you very much for speaking to us and sharing your story.
Thank you too. You're most welcome.
Sumaya Awil Mohammed, thank you so much for sharing your story. Sumaya is a refugee from Somalia. She is also now teaching.
And many things.
Yes, so many things. Yeah. What other thing did I forget?
I'm a teacher, I'm a poet, I'm a tailor. Yeah, and I'm a social media advocate as well.
Wow. Thank you, Sumaya Awil Mohammed. Thank you very much for sharing your story.
You're welcome. Thank you for hosting us as well.
Noela Kabale, a refugee from Congo. She's also the executive director at Tree Phoenix Development Initiative. Thank you so much for sharing your story.
Thank you too for hosting us.
Yeah, it's really been an honor hearing your stories and what the future really looks like.
Yeah. Very big.
Right.
Mm.
Yeah. I hope you've been encouraged by hearing stories of real people, real women who were forcefully chased out of their country because of war. Just for context, Uganda's refugee policy has been praised at the international level for supporting refugees from all over Africa and beyond. And please, dear Ugandans, thank you for supporting. To the host communities, thank you very much. To all of you who have been able to be a shoulder and support to the entire refugee community that is here. And just like one of them said, these people come with skills, they come with brains, they come with everything. They are setting up businesses. Ubuntu. They are Ugandans, they are Africans, they are Sudanese. We are Africans. And I hope that you've been inspired. Happy Women's Month. I'm Solomon Serwanja. Thank you so much for watching. This is The Hard Questions.